Bojan Bogdanovic appears to be injured ahead of the New York Knicks' first round in the playoffs, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because according to reports, Bojan Bogdanovic visited with doctors today and had his left wrist scoped. Per team reports, he has been dealing with a sprained wrist for a few weeks, and in May of 2020, after months of discomfort, he had right wrist surgery. So this is not Bogdanovic's first dance with a wrist injury. Now, luckily, he is a righty, and this was his left wrist, but that still has an effect on shooting. It still has an effect on the way you play basketball, and it appears that Bojan is not fully healthy going into the first round of the playoffs between the New York Knicks and either the Miami Heat or Philadelphia 76ers. We will know the answer to that at around 9:30 tonight. Once the Heat and the 76ers finish playing, it's fair to want either team. I want Philly, but, either way, it seems as if one of the Knicks' more important bench players in Bojan Bogdanovic and one of the best shooters on the team will not be fully healthy entering the playoffs. Now, the Knicks are dealing with injuries as Mitchell Robinson kind of messed up his ankle once again against the Bulls the other day, but he has said that he's fine. Tibbs has said he's fine. He appears to be playing come playoffs with very little restriction, which is obviously great news. The Knicks are going to need Mitch no matter who they play. Either way, they're going up against the top 5 center. It just matters if it's the second best center in the NBA in Joel Embiid, who also is probably the second best player in the NBA, or Bam Adebayo, the man who will do nothing to stop his team from winning, especially when it comes to injuring opposing players. So, the Knicks are going to need Mitch out there. They're going to need his muscle. They're going to need his offensive rebounding. They're going to need his defense off the bench when Isaiah Hartenstein gets tired. The Knicks have an ability to platoon 2 very, very good NBA centers, which gives them a massive advantage. But this is about Bogdanovic. This is about another guy off the bench. Now, we know Deuce is going to get a lot of heavy minutes, and if you hear that traffic outside, look, I live in New York City. You're going to have to deal with it. It's 4 p.m. There's traffic right outside. But look, Bojan is hurt. And really, I hope this isn't serious. I don't think it's serious. I don't think this is some major injury, but it is something to keep an eye out for. We've seen Bogdanovic be very inconsistent on his time with the New York Knicks, though his numbers do look decent if you take a look at them. He's putting up 10 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1 assist in these 29 games that he's played. He's also shooting 43% from the field, which isn't great, but 37% from 3 is very respectable. And he's doing this in a smaller volume than he's used to, and I think that's also screwed with his head. Look, Bogdanovic is used to playing heavy minutes, being a starter. He's basically been a starter his entire NBA career. Now he's coming off the bench for the Knicks. Things are a little bit different for Bojan Bogdanovic now. He's playing in shorter spurts. He's kind of trying to figure out how to do that, and clearly he's had some trouble, but also it appears that he is having a wrist issue. Now, I think he'll be fine for the playoffs. The playoffs don't start till Saturday. It is Wednesday, so he'll have 4 days to recover from getting his wrist scoped. But clearly, there is a problem with that left wrist. We're going to see what happens with it because he's going to have to hit threes. Look, we have Deuce off the bench, who's a 40% three-point shooter. But outside of that, look at the rest of the bench unit, guys. So these are the 9 guys who, if everyone stays healthy, will be playing in the Knicks playoff rotation. Starting, obviously, in the backcourt is Brunson and DiVincenzo with Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Isaiah Hartenstein as the front court. And then we're going to see Precious Achiuwa, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mitchell Robinson, and Deuce McBride off the bench. Now, I assume Deuce and Bojan will play the most minutes, and if Mitch is healthy, then he'll play more minutes than Precious, who will probably get around, 5 to 10 minutes a game. And then everyone else will increase a little bit. But look, I am certainly worried about Bojan because this is not a great shooting bench. The Knicks starting unit, they shoot well between Brunson, between DiVincenzo, between OG Anunoby. Josh Hart's shot has been getting better as the season has gone along. There has been a lot to love with the New York Knicks shooting, but we know it's sort of a problem with the bench as the Alec Burks experiment failed miserably. So they're really relying on Deuce and Bojan Bogdanovic to be shooters off the bench. Bojan better be able to hit shots. I know it's his left wrist, but still, in that shooting motion, you need both arms. I understand his right hand's under the ball. Bojan shoots with one hand. But still, he's going to be thinking about that wrist. And if you're thinking about a wrist injury and how it might impact your shot, you're way more likely to think about your shot more. And once you start thinking about your shot and aiming for the rim, that's when you start missing. If you listen to the Knicks broadcasts often, when players start to miss shots repeatedly, Clyde will use the phrase, Clyde Frazier, the man, the myth, the legend, will say, look, he's aiming right now. The reason he says that is because NBA players take so many jump shots every day when they're practicing. They know how to shoot a basketball. No NBA player on the planet is curious about how to shoot a basketball. They all know how to shoot. You don't really have to aim for the rim that much. They know where the rim is. It's muscle memory. But you start aiming once you start handicapping yourself. So more than anything, I'm worried about Bojan's head. I don't want him to get in his head because of this wrist injury, on top of the fact that he's playing in shorter bursts. He's going to come out there. He's going to have like 5 to 7 minutes of action in time at most. And he's going to be thinking to himself, all right, I have to capitalize. Can't think about my wrist. He's going to get the ball, catch it. And he can't be going into his head like, all right, I know my wrist is screwed up. I hope I can make this. Let me try really hard. He can't over-try to try to hit baskets. As Steph Curry says when he's asked about shooting the basketball, this was some big promo right before he broke the record in MSG, obviously, because the NBA completely set that thing up. Steph said, look, people always ask me, what am I thinking when I'm shooting the ball? The truth is, I'm not thinking about anything. And that's how players have to have, like, that's the mindset players have to have, or you are going to start missing. You don't want to be aiming at the rim. No NBA player is so new to basketball that they have to aim at the rim when they shoot the ball. I mean, I play in a rec league, and I'm not even good, and I don't have to aim at the rim. I know where the rim is. So if I do, then the NBA players know exactly where to shoot a basketball. Bojan cannot get in his head about this, or this could be a severe problem. If we go in and we're like, let's say halfway through the first round playing either team, we're like, dude, this would be a different series if Bojan Bogdanovic was not playing horribly. Then we're going to be super upset throughout the rest of the playoffs. We need a healthy Bojan Bogdanovic, especially without Randall. Bojan's a big body. We don't have that many big guys outside of OG and outside of Bojan. I'm not talking about centers. I'm talking about fours. And Precious, yes, he is one, but he can't shoot, and that's going to be hard to kind of work out in the playoffs when you have either Isaiah Hartenstein and Precious on the court or Precious and Mitch on the court. You're going to be able to shrink the floor at least to a pretty good degree. And I know shrinking the floor is kind of going by the wayside because everyone can shoot now. But if the Knicks end up running some 3-out roster or some 3-out lineup, then they can get into some trouble. They need Bojan to be in there, be 6'8", use his size, and also be able to consistently hit threes. He needs to be a good catch-and-shoot player, and part of catching the ball is catching the ball with 2 hands, adjusting your non-dominant hand, and then getting your shooting hand under the ball in that one motion. When your wrist is hurting, even if it's the non-dominant wrist, the one you're not shooting the ball with, it can cause some problems. So hopefully this doesn't mean anything. Hopefully this is going to be a nothing story that I'm going to look back on and think, wow, I just made a YouTube video on that in like 2 days. I'm like, damn, well, that was a pretty terrible video. Whoops, my bad. But look, if this becomes a severe problem, Tibbs is going to have to figure some stuff out because the Knicks are the 2nd seed. We can't lose in the first round. I get it. We're playing Philly, who has one of the best players in the NBA. We're playing Miami, who always overachieves. I don't care. You're the 2nd seed. You're playing a playing team. You got to win this series, or it is absolutely a failure of a season. Don't let that happen, Knicks. Hopefully Bogdanovic is healthy. That'll make the Knicks' lives a lot easier, especially against a team like Philly, who has a lot of good shooters out there. So, guys, comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Is this going to be a nothing story? Is Bojan going to be okay? What if Bojan can't play? What if he's out? What if he's out? Do we go with Alec Burks? Do we go with an 8-man rotation? Give me your thoughts in the comments. I'll get back to you. I'm probably dropping this video almost directly after I finish filming it. Have a great day. Mic drop. Go Knicks.